So you're thinking of creating some new AI images and uploading them to Adobe Stock, but not sure what to make. Everybody seems to be making abstract backgrounds, but should you be jumping into these, or are there other high selling topics that you should be focusing on instead? Well, the best things to do is probably to start by looking at what are the hottest selling topics in the AI space on Adobe right now. I'm going to show you how you do that. Do a blank search on images here at Adobe Stock. That brings up a set of filters that you can choose from here. Checking on the left side, go down to generative AI and click on generative AI only. So this is going to give you a filtered version of all their images that are AI generated, 16.5 million right now, growing by the day, of course. We're going to go down and sort by downloads, and this will tell you what's been most downloaded from this subset of their images. So here you have it. This is the most downloaded image of all the AI generated images on Adobe Stock as of today. This is called Abstract Organic Green Lines as Wallpaper Background Illustration. So, no surprise here, it's an abstract background. These are very much of the moment with everybody on YouTube telling you should be making a lot of these, and they do seem to be selling well. You can tell if we go back now to the search results for the top selling images that are AI generated, you can see a number of abstract backgrounds. But it's not the only thing, and that's what I want to dive into is looking beyond abstract backgrounds. What are some other hot selling themes or types of images, categories that you should be focusing on if you want to dive into AI? So the people here are doing things right. And you can glean a lot by searching this way, pulling up the highest downloaded images. And what I've done, and I'll go over in a moment, I've actually done an analysis of the top 200 selling images at Adobe Stock. I've categorized them to look at what are the highest selling groupings, categories that seem to be trending very highly on Adobe Stock right now. But let's just dive into these on some of these very top sellers. You can see how they're titling these, how they're being keyworded. So here's creative light bulb explodes with colorful paint and splashes on a black background. Think differently, creative idea concept. So this, I would categorize this as creativity. Of course, there's abstract as well with the colorful paint splashing across it that has that very Midjourney abstract type of look and feel. And if you go down here for the keywords, you can actually see what it is they've used to keyword tag this image. So when buyers are looking for something, this contributor felt that these were the most important keywords that would call up that image. Again, very fascinating to see in any given moment doing a search like this, what buyers want, and that helps give you information on what you should be creating. So another abstract background here, abstract background with dark blue and gold particle, Christmas, golden light shine particles, bokeh on navy blue background, gold foil texture, holiday, and he's got quite a few more words here in his title. Concept, okay. And some of the keywords that he's used on this one. Let's go down here and view all the keywords. Not as many keywords here, but the typical ones, some of the ones that are right in his title. Background, gold, blue, light, glistening, holiday. So Christmas, you'll see this pop up when I show you my categorization. I actually didn't tag this one or didn't put this one in the Christmas bucket, but you can see how potentially a customer looking for a Christmas background might like something like this with the gold shimmering with the blue, kind of a wintry feel to it. So I can see that. Let's check out a few more of these from the bestseller page. We've got a bee here. A stunning bee is flying, isolated on transparent background, macro, incredible pollinator, generative AI. So interesting. That's another one of the categories that you'll see when I share my analysis. Animals, insects seem to be pretty big in terms of customers wanting AI generated images on these subjects. Let's see how the person keyworded these. So bee, insect, flower, macro, nature, honey, fly, pollen. So all the typical words you would have for a bee, but very interesting that a bee tends to be one of the highest sellers on the list of AI images on Adobe Stock. It's not the only one. There's one further down the list, if you can believe it. I think from the same contributor, another bee image in the top 100. Okay, so back to the list. Space. You'll see space pop up in my list of the top selling categories in AI right now. This one's called Colorful Space, Galaxy, Cloud Nebula, Starry Night, Cosmos, Universe, Science, Astronomy, Supernova, Background Wallpaper, generated with AI. as the tag here, which of course we have to click when we upload these images. So looking at the keywords, colorful, space, galaxy, nebula, astronomy. So I did in my analysis find a lot of space images, lots of colorful backgrounds of nebulas, star systems, galaxies, another twist on the abstract background formula. So if you've limited yourself right now to abstract backgrounds, you might consider doing space, since you'll see in a moment when I go over my top seller list, it is a high performing category. And here's a theme that I've used quite a bit in generating AI images so far, and it's been a really good seller for me. But diversity, colorful faces, this one being called pop art illustration, banner, texture, or background depicting the Pride Day and LGBT community with diverse people. I would say even if you weren't going for an LGBTQ theme, it is just colorful, diverse people, cultural backgrounds, that it's hitting on a number of different topics here that would serve a number of different customers' needs. So it's always a good idea when you can hit a couple of different themes, subject matter with one image, then you're doubling the potential revenue or tripling or quadrupling it, depending on how many themes you can work into one image. So this one, a hot seller right now. Go back to the list and look at a few more before we dive into my list of top categories in my analysis. Here's one, again, the space theme. I'd call this one, space travel combined with the technology subject of computer, digital, online, cloud. So again, powerful sales potential here because they're combining different categories. This one being called launching space rocket from laptop screen, generative AI. Here's an image of a young businesswoman, young, happy, pretty, smiling, professional businesswoman, happy, confident, positive female entrepreneur. So lots of high commercial value concepts here. Youth, female, entrepreneur, business person, happy, confident. So that's all sorts of good concepts all rolled into one. Flowers. So nature is a big topic. You'll see in a moment in my list of top categories. Flowers, trees, but here's a really attractive one, very colorful, almost abstract in its design. Looking at the keywords here, so it's watercolor, pink, floral, spring. So you bring in the seasonal aspect. Somebody wants some things, or getting ready for spring. If that's a theme for their business campaign or other design work. So great image there. So again, keep this in mind. If you are stuck, you're tired of doing abstract backgrounds, they're very competitive. I would caution people away from just sticking with abstract. Do a few for sure, but venture beyond that. And this is a good way to figure out where you can go from there. Look at what the hot sellers are. Keep in mind that a lot of people obviously are going to be looking at what the hot topics are, but try to put your own twist on it. Add different elements, combine different themes like we talked about here. If you can combine different hot selling topics from the list of big sellers here, you could have some potential, find yourself a new niche that other people haven't already oversaturated. So let's dive in and take a look at the top categories. Number one, abstract. Obviously, we just saw in there are a lot of these. So there's potential for you to make some sales, but keep in mind that it's very competitive. 44 of the top 200 were abstract. That's 22.8% of the top sellers. Nature. So again, you saw the flowers a moment ago, lots of trees, lots of sky, water. We'll go through those in a moment. I'll break down each of these categories into their subcategories. Technology. So this is going to be, you'll see in a moment, computers, AI, cloud computing. Business people, 20 of the top 200, that's 10%. And you'll see some surprising things when I do the breakdown in a moment. Animals, 12 or 6%. Holidays, you saw a Christmas image a moment ago, but that's not the only holiday to keep in mind. Space, 4.7%, 9 of the images. Creativity, 8 of the top 200 images were somehow creative in theme. Light bulbs, a mind or brain, 4% of those. Diversity, we just saw a moment ago, LGBTQ concepts or race, cultural backgrounds, hot topic right now, diversity, equity, inclusion. Making money, so somehow financial, business around the world. Leisure, so different things to do with your family, being outdoors, doing some kind of sporting activity, 5 or 2.6%. A globe or a world. Health and fitness, products, architecture, future or dystopia, some kind of a pessimistic look at the future world. home buying, so purchasing real estate, and then environmental topics. And you'll see as we go through these, and I show some examples on the screen, some of these could fall into many more than just one category. So let's dive into the categories one by one. You can see how I've grouped them into subcategories so you can get a little more specific idea on where the opportunities are. So abstract, this again, the no-brainer, the colorful shapes, the different weird designs that are hard to categorize. They're just different stripes or cutouts or paint splatters, those kind of things. 24 of the top 200 were of this. Again, highly competitive. I wouldn't suggest you spend a lot of time there. Colorful abstract lights. There's less of those than there are these kind of paint splatters. So maybe some opportunity there. Colorful bursts or smoke. You've probably seen these where it looks like a little explosion with a cloud with different colors in it. Very popular motif right now. And then people, some kind of a human shape made up of these paint splatters or lights or other abstract shapes. And then solid color backgrounds. So most of the things you see in here in abstract AI art are going to be these very colorful rainbow-like images, but I saw some that were more a solid color with just different texture that the buyer might want. And then colorful objects. These might be something that's a little more defined than the abstract shapes, but they're arranged in a way that really does look like an abstract background. And then pedestals. I saw examples of a stand, a series of stands where you might rank a first, second place finisher in some kind of competition. So it arranged in an abstract way. The second highest performing category right now in AI is nature for Adobe Stock. That's 28 of the top 200 or 14.5% were somehow nature and theme. Trees was the highest one here. Flowers with 5. Water backgrounds, waves, oceans were 4. Leaves, wood background, planks. I saw a number that were backgrounds of like brown planks that you could use as a backdrop for some other image or collage. Sky, clouds, a very nice blue sky with fluffy white clouds going by. People gardening, people planting trees, plants. It was a high selling theme here in this group. Kids playing outdoors. And a horizon, either a sunrise or sunset. And green or environmental. So leaves arranged in a way that look like an environmental symbol of some kind. And finally, green hills, nice rolling, lush hills, and a landscape type image. So number 3 on the Adobe Stock list of hot 200 images right now, technology, taking up 23 slots in the top 200, 11.9%. So the top one being a robot, an AI, artificial intelligence, some kind of an android or other robotic shape. Laptop computer, surprisingly, showed in 5 of the top 200 images. Solar or wind generation, solar panels or windmills, so that technology of renewable energy. Cloud computing, so an actual cloud symbol merged with some kind of computerized background, maybe a laptop or some kind of a motherboard or other type of circuit grid. Computer internal, again, like I described, motherboard, circuits inside of a computer. The warehousing, the insides of a factory that's very modern, using the latest technology to move packages or products from place to place. Network servers, so different computer equipment all linked together. And a mobile phone. Number 4 on the list is business people. That took up 20 slots of the top 200 at Adobe Stock right now in this analysis, 10.4%. And the number 1 image in business people was a young woman, like the one we just saw looking at the list of top sellers. Compared to a young man, there was only 1 young man in the list, 5 young women. So clearly a trend here. If you're going to do business people, you should show women. Or if you're going to show a group of people, make sure it's men and women. A single person in the shot, you might want to go with a young woman in the shot. Group walking indoors, so I saw a number of images where people rushing by. Some of these were blurred, but they could have been in a lobby of some kind of business. An IT worker at a computer, there were 3 of the top 200 featuring these. A young group of business people talking. Hybrid or home people working from home, sitting at what was clearly a kitchen table or their home office, but a hot topic these days as many people still are not back to the office. They're working from home at least part of the time. A young man, like I said, there was 5 young women images and just a single one with a young man, business person. A group around a table, like a conference table, working together on a project. And then finally, people walking at a trade show. The next big category, animals. 12 of the top 200 were animals at 6.2% of the total. A rabbit, there were four of these in the top 200. A bee, there were two, one chameleon, one giraffe, one lion, actually a combined image of a lion and a lamb, a dog, a butterfly, and one cat. So a good mix of animals here. You can see that there's some potential here, not a huge overrepresentation of any one animal, aside from a rabbit, which might have been, as AI was really growing in the spring. Some of these seem to be perhaps Easter themed, the Easter bunny. The number 6 category was holidays. 10 of the top 200 were holiday themed. Number 1 being Christmas. Makes sense as it's late in the year now, people starting to generate and buy Christmas related images. 5 of the top 200. International Women's Day. Again, this is going to depend on what type of year it is. So International Women's Day happens to be coming up. So that was a big topic right now. Ramadan, again, it's coming up on the calendar. And Halloween, it's coming up on October. So obviously this is going to be a top seller. So if you have in mind you want to generate some holiday or other observance related images, just keep in mind that review times are 2 to 3 months away. So if you were right now thinking of doing some Christmas images, I'd hold back on that because you're probably not even going to give them up in time for Christmas. You might instead consider Easter or even Valentine's Day, things that are going to come up next spring and summer. Better time to be doing those right now, giving you time to get them uploaded and into your portfolio. Category number 7 is space. 9 of the top 200 or 4.7%. Star background, like we saw in the very top sellers. Nice abstract galaxy background, lots of stars, nebulas, those kind of things. Very colorful and very hot sellers. Travel, so you saw with a couple space rocket images, that seems to be a big theme that people are buying. And I saw one astronaut on the list. Number 8 was creativity. 8 of the top 200. A lot of these were images of a brain or a mind, sometimes with the colorful smoke behind them, so they were very abstract as well. Sometimes it was a profile of a person's head with a very colorful brain inside and just things, different shapes shooting out from around it, signifying creativity. A light bulb, similar approach. Sometimes it was very colorful and abstract looking with paint or other shapes on it. So whether it's creativity or imagination, things that involve the mind and intelligence and thinking, new ideas, creativity is always a hot seller, particularly now with AI images. Number 9, diversity. Again, one of my favorite topics to be creating images of, AI or otherwise. 5 of the top 200, or about 2.5%. Colorful people, like you saw in the image we looked at a moment ago, as well as LGBTQ. Sometimes there's overlapping, like the image we saw, happened to hit on both these themes. Very smart to be creating images that way to maximize your revenue potential. Number 10, making money. And this was kind of an all-purpose financial investment category. I saw a number of images about shipping or warehouses, shipping products out to grow your business, and then investment data, looking at returns on the stock market, numbers going up or down, indicating growing your wealth. The number 11 top selling category right now, leisure. 5 of the top 200. I saw people at a barbecue in an image, people kayaking, party and balloons in an outdoor setting, books and reading, like a library just full of books on shelves, and volunteerism, people working together to help others. Number 12 top selling image, the world or a globe of some kind. I saw a number of images that were somehow environmental themed, with leaves making up a globe, or at least half of a globe, connections, so different dotted lines or networks of people going from country to country, some kind of international business theme. 13 was health and fitness. I was actually kind of surprised to see it this low on the list. It's normally a very hot selling topic in stock photography. Just 4 of the top 200 of the AI images were health and fitness. There were 2 showing older, healthy women, either exercising or just enjoying their lives in a healthy way. Happy older couple. I saw one that was a older couple jogging, and a young woman exercising as well. Number 14, products of various kinds seem to be big. There were 2 images in the top 200 that were t-shirts, blank t-shirts that seemed to be images that would help somebody with a print on demand type of business. There's a lot of t-shirt businesses out there, people jumping into that. 1 image of cars in a parking lot, like at a dealership, and then 1 image of a number of people grocery shopping. 15 was architecture for the top 200, showing either skyscrapers or new building under construction. Number 16 was future dystopia, some kind of a pessimistic look at a future world. Two showed sort of a cyberpunk skyline, and one was kind of a bleak doorway opening to a future in a desert type setting. Number 17, home buying. Two of the top 200, real estate. These are people buying their first home with a real estate agent. They illustrated this with kind of home models or little toy icons representing homes. And finally on the list, environmentalism, two of the top 200. Again, some of the images that I just described could also fall into this category. I did bucket a couple of those in here as well as one of the others. Greenscapes, kind of showing lots of trees around architecture, this new movement in architecture to be very green, integrating plants, trees with the overall building setting in a very green, environmentally friendly way. So there you have it. There's my analysis of the top selling AI images at Adobe Stock right now. Hopefully they gave you some good ideas. I'll do regular updates on this video to check in time to time how this list changes and give you some updates to give you new ideas on how to be generating some top selling AI images. So watch my other videos on this and other topics. Sign up for my newsletter that has tips and other useful information to help you grow your microstock income. And I'll see you soon.